You're listening to Rockland News, available on Apple, Spotify, and online at rocklandnews.com. Thanks for joining us today. Here are your hosts, Tom Osa and Mike Kluger.
And we're back.
We're back.
And we are better than ever, or at least theoretically. I see this paper right in front of me and it says, we're better than ever. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on AM Rockland's News this morning. I'm your host, Tom Osa.
And I'm Mike Kluger.
We're already on the air at approximately 8:15 in the morning. Let's get into some of the weather. Mike, why don't you hit us with the weather, sir?
It is warmer today than it has been, but watch out for that ice and slickness. Tom, 34 degrees actually feels warm when you're used to 9.
I feel the music in what you say. I also feel the music is about to stop over here. Pop! Yeah.
Pop goes the weasel.
I have a very close friend that told me when and she actually worked for, I guess, like about 3 years while she was in college. I'm going back about 15 years.
Okay.
And I forget the name of it, but she's like, you always got to meet the post. And I think it's when the music stops, there has to be some sort of a clear, delineation. So I've always been really sensitive to that. So hopefully we're doing our job here at Rockland News. But again, we have the weather coming up momentarily. And Mike, how's everything going with that?
It will get cold again. It's going to snow again. I feel like our weather, I don't want to say it's aggressive because this feels like what regular weather should be. The last bunch of years, we haven't gotten a lot of snow. It's gotten cold for a week.
Yeah.
We're it's not that bad. I mean, this is getting back to what normal winter should be.
I can't stand aggressive weather because, quite frankly, I feel intimidated by it.
You're intimidated by the aggressive weather?
Weather, not leather. Did you just say aggressive leather?
No, but maybe the weather has leathered you.
Well, I mean, when it's really, really, really cold, it feels like stinging on the skin.
That's what I mean. Leathered you. The cold, dryness.
We actually felt that over at the Stony Point Seals Polar Plunge this past Sunday. Yeah.
How icy cold it was.
I got to tell you, it was 1 degree out there, brother. And at the same time, the wind chill brought it down to approximately 12 degrees. And me, Jessica, and our friend John Sandak, he's actually on the Town of Tuxedo board. And congratulations, John, for his appointment or his election to the board. But yeah, we're there and we're walking back. I'm in my penguin outfit and I'm waddling.
Hold on. Is there pictures of you in a penguin outfit on our website?
No. I'm not gonna put that on Rockland News. But
why not? That's a news that everybody wants to see you in a penguin thing.
It's on my page.
All right, listeners.
It's a public picture.
I challenge you, if you would like to see Tom in his penguin suit, either on a picture on online, or if you would like to hire him out for your parties, your penguin parties.
Yeah. They don't give a shit. Trust me. They don't.
You don't know. You don't know. You are going to be a celebrity one day. You're going to be the penguin celebrity.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be talking with you, Mike, and I'm happy to be talking with you all at Rockland News. We get about 1.5 to 2.5 thousand listens every single episode. And Mike, I want to say that's largely because of you.
You think so? I would like to tell our listeners, if they are looking to advertise their small Rockland business to the Rockland locations, how does someone advertise with us?
Well, you can advertise with rocklandsnews.com, and we have, for the second year in a row, over 500,000 page views, over 500,000 views. I still haven't wrapped my small brain around this, but 2 years in a row, 503,000 in 2024 and 597,000 in 2025. Nuts.
Now, Tom, we have just started a new program here at Rockland News, and it is called the Small Business Spotlight.
That's right.
And I have done the very first interview with John from District 96, and Burger Lofty is the entrepreneur for both of those fine eating and drinking establishments. One of the things we're offering is for one of us to come out and interview you as a small business, learn about your small business, ask all the cool, compelling questions. And hopefully,
we do the interview, and you're going to be on AM Rockland's News, and we don't even charge anything for it. In all seriousness, the intro is on us. We want to get to know you, and we want to establish a business relationship where we can help grow your business over the course of time.
Because we are Rockland focused, and we understand that part of this is being the voice of Rockland also means telling the Rocklanders, telling our listeners, telling our citizens what's out there.
Yeah.
Because there is so much out there, listeners, that it's really difficult to know everything that goes on in Rockland because there's so much going on.
Yeah, there absolutely is. And I mean, one of the things is about what happened yesterday with the West Point power outage. We also have Admiral's Cove right down here in Haverstraw. The Tenants Association, they're claiming that some of the units are uninhabitable. That place is like brand new over there. Palisade Center got sold for $175 million, down from $460 million. Sparky's Diner is celebrating 50 years.
Now that's something I want to talk about. That's some good small business right there.
Well, that's the next interview that's coming up on the Small Business Spotlight. But I want to start off with, again, what you did with District 96. And we're going to do just a little small portion of the interview because we're going to put the full entire interview, and it is a quality interview, I want to say, on our Spotify and Apple Podcast page. But Mike, if you'll permit me, I want to play a little bit of a segment at the very beginning of the interview.
Sure.
All right,
I went down to the New City location of District 96 and sat with John. And Tommy, let me know when you're ready to hit the go button.
That would be right now.
All right. Let's hear what I have to do. We are sitting here with John from District 96 in New City, New York. John, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for having me. I guess. I'm sitting here enjoying one of your delicious cultures.
Nice.
John is one of the premier craft beverage purveyors of Rockland County, and that's why we're here to talk about a small business. John, tell us about why you opened this brewery. How long have you been here? How many employees did you start with? How many do you have now? Those kind of things.
So we opened up in July 3rd of 2017. Reason why we opened was there was only one brewery in the county at the time.
Okay.
And we had the restaurant next door, and the space opened up next door to the Burger Loft. And I used to be a home brewer, and I thought it'd be a nice addition to New City and Rockland to have a restaurant and brewery combined.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Were there any struggles in getting this done, or was everyone behind you? Did you have to climb a mountain of paperwork?
My partner was the hardest one to find. He's a numbers guy.
Okay.
So I had to convince him to see.
Just the money guy.
The money guy. Well, he's everything. You know, he does every. You know, we sit down and we talk, and I throw a billion ideas at him, and maybe one sticks. And this one did, and we were lucky it did, but. Not too many obstacles. Obviously, the space was really short and low ceilings, so we had to convert that hole to a high ceiling and then dig out the basement and make a nice aesthetic for people to come in and enjoy it. Working with the state was pretty easy. They were pretty good at the time. The town was great. Yeah.
All right. How many people, when you already had the Burger Loft next door, so you already had a full staff and infrastructure and all that. But when you put the brewery in, you had to go find a bunch of folks to come work for you, right?
Yeah.
You weren't doing this while you were running the Burger Loft as well.
No, so we had the company we bought all the equipment from had a staff to help set everything up. And then once they were set everything up and they left, it was just our head brewer and myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And how much beer were you making when you first started?
So we had a 7-barrel system, and we had 5 7-barrel fermenters. So pretty much that's like 14 kegs in terms, if people understand barrels. So we were making enough to run the restaurant. Yeah.
And I noticed a number of taps behind the bar right now. Is that how many you started with, or did you expand from that?
We started with that many just in case, but we didn't always have that many on tap.
So
All right, and that was our part of Mike's interview with John from District 96, and he's got 2 different locations in Rockland County: the Burger Loft in New City, as well as District 96 located in Nyack.
Right, and the Burger Loft and District 96 are kind of a hand-in-hand kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
One is the place where you go fill your belly full of tasty food, and the other one is where you go get the tasty beer. The difference, I'm told, Nyack is more of a nightlife kind of Nyack Main Street kind of thing,
Mhm.
whereas the New City location is more of a family restaurant kind feel to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We were there after Jessica, my wife, had her Library Association of Rockland County 5K run at Rockland's Rockland
Rockland
Lake
Lake State
Park,
Park.
State Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very important. We went over there afterwards, the Burger Loft, and we hung out for it
The
was
New
fun.
City one or the Nyack
The New
one?
City one.
New
Yeah.
City one.
Yeah. So it's definitely, and also location is so important. Like where you
Yeah.
see the loft set up, especially in Nyack,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really great spot.
The Nyack spot is indeed, it is on the corner of Broadway and Main. The
Mhm.
New City spot is at the very southern end of Main Street.
Yeah.
You can see it from Route 304. And the Nyack, the New City spot is interesting because when you first look at it, it looks like some weird strip mall.
Yeah.
And when you walk in, there are these beautiful old skylights and these big open, bright spaces. It's almost like you're stepping into a botanical garden without the plants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I should get plants for him.
Well, and there is that component there, the agricultural component. I mean, when we talk about farm to table,
Yeah.
that's where the real action is. I mean, the ones that are in the fields every day, either with very elaborate equipment. I mean, you saw me playing Farming Simulator,
Right.
or just doing it with just a good team around them. That's a huge driver for the American economy and the Rockland economy as well, because farm to table.
Well, and from a place of not self-sufficiency as a whole, but a little bit more self-sufficient, we used to, in this country, promote victory gardening. And that
What's that?
victory gardening was created during World War II, and all of our resources were being fueled to the war machine to go fight Nazis, to go fight all that kind of stuff. So since all of these resources were being drained outside the country, the government provided and encouraged every citizen who had a strip of land anywhere to
Mhm.
plant vegetables in it.
Right.
And this is how America survived the Great Depression and the issues of World War II, going into the recession that led after that, moving pretty much into marketing and commercialism when big food took over.
Right. And it's very, very valid. It's a very valid point. And history tells us, and that's local history as well as all sorts of history, that kind of what goes around comes around. So we're going to obviously, over the course of time, we're going to discard the systems and processes that don't work anymore. And eventually, law of Murphy's law, things kind of like bloop, and they're gone. But then some really good processes take over. Mike, I'll give you an example. Solar. Now,
Okay.
solar, okay. We're going through a little bit of a renaissance with solar because new technologies that support the panels that absorb the solar energy, they're being refined scientifically so that, even agricultural locations and, just in general, and I'm getting futurist about this. I'm excited.
Well, I've been seeing that the batteries have been
Battery
being better.
storage, exactly.
And
That's a
I'm
big
wondering at
thing.
what point O&R becomes like the blacksmith of old, where you need them a little bit, but nobody's riding horses anymore, so you don't need horseshoes.
That's an excellent question, and I will say that not to get too much into the business report, because we do this on Tuesdays at 4:00. Just full disclosure, there's a business report at 4:00 on Tuesdays on AM Rockland's News. But I would guess that we're far off from actually being able to achieve that, because even though we have the technology and the materials, what we don't have is the transition of economic power into those technologies, because the last generation of solar failed us. And I think it was oversold, like, oh my goodness, solar's amazing, you got to get it. And certainly, on our roof, right? You put it up there and you're able to save a lot of money. But I don't think that technology has informed the industrial cats yet.
Right. And we are kind of getting away from our initial thing, which is about small business.
Yes.
Although if we were able to have more of this inexpensive power, it would really help Rockland County small business
Without a doubt,
from
yeah.
that place. Now, back to our original point.
Right.
John opened this brewery in 2017. He's the second brewery. I hope to interview all of the craft beverage makers in Rockland County. I believe there are 8 of them currently.
One down, 7 to go.
The oldest brewery is Defiant. It is in Pearl River across from the train station, and its owner is Neil Acer. We have our very own, right down the street from me,
Right.
the Bricktown Beer House, which is Stony Point Brewing by David Ludwig, North Rockland graduate.
I'm listening.
We have, I'm not sure what the folks it used to be called Two Ladders, and I know the brewmaster from what used to be Gentle Giant has moved into that location, and they won some award that I just saw in the news. But there's also the cidery at Davies Farm, Red
Correct.
Barn Cidery. The Van Houtens, which is in Nanuet, they have a cidery, although they do not sell at their location.
Mm-hmm.
There's a winery in Sloatsburg.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
And I'm trying to think of who else who any of the other craft beverage makers are. But I plan on
I mean, I'm looking forward to it because as you're talking with everybody from District 96 and all the different breweries, we want to talk about them here on Rockland News, because what are you guys out there in the audience going to want to do after work? It's going to be like Q104.3 when it hits 5 o'clock around here.
Are we going to have a whistle? Woo!
Exactly. And then eventually, play some, well, we're living here in Allentown.
We're living here in Rockland Town?
Now, just switching gears just a little bit. Now, before we hit Allentown, first of all, we got to hit the city, and that's what happened last week, Mike.
Well, before you step over to that, I would like to remind folk that most of the craft beverage places do serve food. They do have entertainment, and that's the 3 pillars of culture, right? Mm-hmm. What do you eat? What do you drink? And what entertains you? What's your music? What's your media? If you look all throughout culture, those are 3 of the big pillars of what are you doing when you're not actively producing? Mm-hmm. What are you consuming? In both,
which goes back to our original show, MT Vessels. We
Correct.
have a few podcasts out there
Correct.
about that. What are you consuming? What is your archetype being informed by through your consumption?
Now, we hope that your consumption will be as local as possible.
Oh, very local.
And that's why we encourage you to buy craft beverage. We encourage you to go to the local mom and pop shop restaurants. We are Main Street, USA, not Wall Street.
And even if you would consider this as farm up to 3 pounds of local.
Farmed up to 3 pounds?
Never mind. Anyway, so we were down in New York City last week. And thank you, Mike, by the way, for giving me a lift over there so I could make it to the train station in time and still be able to run businesses and stuff like that. But we had an interesting time, if I can talk about this for a little while.
Because this relates directly to Rockland County because it's about a Rockland County property, right?
Correct. It is the Palisades Center. Now, just as a background, Palisades Mall has been going through lots of controversy over the last 5 years. Now, the original name of the company that held the note for $460 million was, I believe it was called Echelon or Echion, ECCHOLON. And they were originally, basically they owned the debt, they owned the property, and basically place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. They had a company that was not performing well in terms of the property management, plus COVID hit. So it was kind of a mess over there. And basically what happened is that the mall ended up in an auction to basically sell the mall off to who ended up getting the note. So Wilmington Trust basically went after Echion and the note fell into the hands of Black Diamond Property Holdings.
What do we know about Black Diamond Property Holdings?
Yes, and it is also in ownership of a subsidiary called BD Property Holdings. They basically ended up with the note. They subsequently filed with the town of Clarkstown stating that the value of the property was diminished, especially during COVID. And Clarkstown hit back, and they ultimately settled at around $300 million on the value of the property. Let's put a little footnote into that momentarily.
Okay.
Then, just to solidify the ownership of the property, on February 4th, last Wednesday at 2:15 in the afternoon, an auction was held in the courthouse at right by the World Trade Center.
Okay.
And I was there for the proceedings and such. The thing lasted literally, Mike, about 8 minutes.
Was this a state auction? Is that how that played out?
So there was basically a moderator that was in charge of the proceedings, and they set the opening bid at $175 million.
Right. Did you go to a state courthouse or a federal courthouse? I'm trying to
It was
understand.
a state. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a state courthouse.
So, listeners, what happened was the property fell in a place that is in the state's jurisdiction. The reason why Tom had to leave Rockland County is under the state's jurisdiction that the auction had to be held in New York City at the state courthouse. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right.
Now, I'm going to shut my mouth there because the next segment that we're going into is my subsequent interview. I was interviewed by WABC Radio, AM 770. John Katzimatidis, who is the owner of Red Apple Media Group and owns the AM 770 WABC Radio, as well as WRCR's now sold frequency, AM 1700, and the receiver of that is AM 770. So without further ado, my Super Bowl Sunday interview with John Katzimatidis, who interviewed us about the Palisades Center.
Hold on. Just before you hit that, I want to give another quick plug to John at District 96 and Burger Loft. He doesn't have these problems that we're talking about on this heavy corporate level. His biggest struggle is getting you good food and good beer at a reasonable price.
Yep.
And really, he couldn't express that more, that he's trying to make this affordable for everybody, make it a good time. And I really encourage everyone to not just go find New York craft beverage, but go to District 96 and Burger Loft. Go say hi to John. He's usually around there doing something.
Yep. Now let's have a conversation with a billionaire.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now, is right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi. Okay, man, we're looking around. This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. Well, let's go up to Rockland County, and with us today is Tom Osa, and he is the president of the Rockland News. Well, Tom, every Sunday we go to different counties. Give us an update. What the heck is going on in Rockland County?
Well, there's a lot going on, John. Thanks for having me on. The latest and the greatest right now is that the Palisades Center has been sold to BD Palisades Holdings officially through an auction that was held in New York City on February 4th. Original value was around $460 million. It went for a song at $175 million. So within a 10-minute time frame, approximately $290 million worth of value was just wiped out. But that doesn't mean that the mall is going anywhere anytime soon. Multiple sources identified that the mall is going to stay, at least for the time being, in the same shape. As a matter of fact, Spinoza...
Was it a foreclosure? What was it? What happened?
Yeah, so BD Palisades Holdings, they ultimately obtained the note from the previous holders of the property. Wilmington Trust. And apparently the previous management, they were essentially defaulting on the debt for years and years. This had been going on through the court system all the way through COVID. And essentially, Wilmington Trust, they handed over the note to BD Palisades Holdings, otherwise known as Black Diamond Capital Management. And they had been filing grievances with the town of Clarkstown for overtaxation. They ultimately settled on the value of the property at approximately $300 million. But then in the court auction yesterday, BD Palisades Holdings was ultimately the winner of the auction. Nobody else bid on the property whatsoever. And within a 10-minute time frame, approximately $290 million worth of value was wiped out, at least on the book.
Now, what else is going on? Is business good up in Rockland County? What is going on?
Yeah, I'd like to say that it's Monza, as one would say. There's a lot of activity. Residential and commercial housing has been an issue over the last several years, obviously. A lot of migration from New York City to upstate and downstate New York. There is currently a deficit of approximately 7,000 units residential that is being addressed over the last several months. There were several approvals of various properties. For instance, Impact down in Haverstraw, which is going to hold approximately 400 units over there. On the commercial side, you have the Shops at Nanuet, which was recently purchased by Alexander Properties, LLC, and it's now being shaped into what's known as the Nanuet Town Center. And it's aiming toward mixed-use, transit-oriented development because they're literally about 1 mile away from the local train station, and they have really, really big plans for the property. And they're negotiating with the town for some zoning variances so that they could do residential and commercial. It's a beautiful property, John.
Now, Rockland News, you're the president of Rockland News. If somebody wants to, is away from Rockland, is from Rockland originally, you have a website they can go to?
Yes, sir. It's rocklandsnews.com. We get we're a small outfit. We get about 500,000 views per year. Last few years, we get about 4 million views on social, and we cover a variety of issues, mostly just looking about the future trajectory of Rockland. Last year, our main issue was residential and commercial housing. Now we're getting into traffic. There's a lot of traffic issues that are happening, a lot of accidents. Clarkstown just got approved for $1.8 million to do some traffic overhauls on the main highways and also some studies that were federally approved.
Well, Tom Ossa, thank you so much for coming on this Sunday morning. And if you have any big news to report, you know where to find us.
Thanks, John. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think
Whoops, sorry about that. A little dead air there after the interview, but yeah, that was.
It was
wild,
just a
man.
brief pause.
It was a brief pause. All right, so that was the interview with John Catsimatidis from WABC Radio. So yeah, that was an interesting interview, man.
Well, and it just goes to show that the higher up in that corporate structure you go, the more complicated everything becomes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I walk a fine line. It's basically Johnny Cash with like some casual corduroy jacket.
Do you dress all in black?
No. But I would say like a dark brown or, darker colors, I'd say these days.
Okay.
Yeah. So
a little subdued.
Right. Yeah. Just like,
Wait,
but
are you a dude who's a sub?
No, you're the dude, man.
But I'm not a sub.
Yeah. So, but that was
Anyway.
an interesting interview. It was basically like, called in, and it was pretty casual. He's a really nice guy. I was starting to speed read his book, How Far Do You Want to Go? And so in the future, we might have some more collaboration with WABC Radio and pass along stories and things like that.
Well, I am interested in this story about the Palisade Center Mall because it is the biggest gathering place in Rockland County
Exactly.
for us. And I'm not sure what would happen. Would it eventually go back to the state if this company fails to do anything good with it and make it a profitable business?
Well, the
How does
state,
that work?
I don't think that the state can take land. They already did that a long, long time ago.
Well,
I don't think they could do that anymore, but who knows?
I mean, from like a tax auction,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. No, that's
So
it. Well,
like
the auction, yeah, absolutely.
right, it would go to
Go to the
probate.
right bidder. And the crazy thing about it is nobody else bid on the property. So you remember I mentioned $300 million?
So I wonder why that is.
Well, you know what? I mean, the argument is that can they extract more value than 175 million out of the property in order to service the debt long term?
Well,
And that's really the ongoing question.
See, and
will the banks tolerate what happens next?
This kind of circles back to my whole small business Main Street idea. And although the mall is the antithesis of Main Street, we are talking about everything in dollar bills and value instead of good services and crafts.
Right.
So one of the reasons maybe that the mall might be failing, and I'm hoping this is the case, is that we are growing our main streets.
I hope so too. And that is an important component of a strong, vibrant community. Good example of that is like, every time me and my wife, we go up to the library conference up in Saratoga. You've been to Saratoga?
I've been to Saratoga. It's a very nice place.
Tell me it is not. And it's chock full of, and obviously it's the main road is like one of the largest in New York as far as like the width of it, but it is full of small business, if you will, vibrance.
Yes.
There's economic activity in one, but there's energy. You feel the energy when you're in that town.
There is precedent for even a medium city such as Rochester, New York.
Rochester.
That they took the focus away from big business, and not saying that they didn't allow it, but they focused, instead of giving the tax breaks to big business, they decided to focus on small business. And Rochester has changed its economy around to the positive. They focus on a lot of small business and a lot of things that are agriculture based, such as the craft beverage industry. I don't know about the budding marijuana industry up there.
No pun intended.
But 202 Cannabis might know.
They might. I don't know about this cannabis. Actually, our dog Watson.
Hey,
Watson,
our sponsor.
He just saw a bus go by, because he wants to let everybody know that if you see a bus in front of you while you're driving, don't pass the bus.
And don't pass things on the bus.
And that's
don't go to 202 Cannabis when you're on the bus.
You don't want to be, and in all seriousness, you want to drive safe. You want to make sure that you're very, very careful. 202 Cannabis has the first drive-through cannabis dispensary legal in all of Rockland County.
Now, folks, that does not mean you should drive through there and then light it up.
No,
you should go home.
Bring it home.
Go find your chair.
Yeah.
Go find your munchies. Sit down in your comfy chair and enjoy your 202
If
Cannabis.
you're behind the school bus, wait until the safety thing and the lights turn off so that you can properly navigate through traffic. If the safety bus arm is out, you just don't want to go past it because of Captain Obvious, which is be careful with the kids, guys. Okay. That's the main point of that whole thing.
It's for the children.
It's for it is kind of.
It is for the children.
So gotta be careful with the kids. All right. So that was the interview with John Katz and the Teeties. And we have another interview, Mike.
And who's this interview with?
So this is about, the big issue that occurred yesterday. So, and I got to give you some context. I mentioned to you that I was working until 10:30 o'clock last night. And I start off the day, West Point's power is out.
Right.
Orange and Rockland's substation in Harriman went down. It took a huge dump, and basically West Point went out for several hours. They got it back up at 11:30. Congratulations, guys. Okay. Then I get messages from the contacts that we've been developing over at Admiral's Cove to really understand what's happening there. So we have an interview with Elsie, who is a former resident of Admiral's Cove. Now, Elsie is her pseudonym. We didn't put her full name on there so that, we're protecting, but,
So this is a Admiral's Cove resident or former resident?
Former resident. All right.
Right.
And I'm not even going to pre-shape this. I want the audience to hear this, and you can read the rest of the story. And the full interview is at rocklandnews.com. It's on the homepage. Scroll down to the Haverstraw section. All right. So without further ado, here's our interview with Elsie, formerly of
Admiral's Cove in Haverstraw, New York.
All right. And I'm going to, from your perspective as a person aided to this year, you could go to stonypointseals.com.
Ridiculous amount of open apartments right now.
Entered the water due to the fact that the information about a local
Tom is
residential
experiencing
housing
technical
facility
difficulties. Please stand
that
by.
seems, at least according to what we've heard from numerous sources at this point, some substandard conditions that may be happening over there. So, Elsie, thank you for joining us on Rockland's News this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, perhaps you could tell us what's going on. If you could just tell us about the name of the facility and, from your perspective as a person that has been a resident over there, what's been going on over the last year?
So was a tenant of Admiral's Cove in Haverstraw. It is right next door to the harbors. I remember growing up and everyone talking about how nice they were. So obviously when I was looking at apartments, I decided to go look over there and ended up leasing with them. For the most part, because I work as much as I do, I don't spend as much time in my apartment, but I started to see things slowly as time went on. And once I did, I obviously reached out to management and wasn't getting much responses. So I had mold. I found mold in my apartment, and I obviously was alarmed because I had never lived with mold, lived with my parents, lived in the city, lived in a bunch of different places, never had mold. I alerted the facility about it, property management. They did not respond to me once I put it in as a work order. It only when I basically told them that, hey, I'm going to be leaving because I cannot live with mold, did they decide to reach out to me. So once they reached out to me, it was numerous phone calls saying that I need to let them into my apartment now because they need to go and fix it. I said basically, if you're just going to be cleaning it up, I'd prefer to wait until someone actually comes and tests it. I don't want someone to just scrub over it, basically. They refused to let me do that. And they came in while I was at work and basically scrubbed it off with bleach and spray painted over it. And basically said because they were able to do that, that it must have been my cleaning skills that had caused it. And they proceeded to also say that I needed to be running the fan in my bathroom for an hour after showering. Mind you, the window was across my apartment, nowhere near my bathroom.
Okay.
And that I needed to be buying some industrial cleaner to clean it up. It just didn't sound right to me. And I was wondering, if I had that problem, who else might have had that problem? So I kind of went down a rabbit hole and realized that it wasn't just me. There were numerous tenants previous and past who had dealt with mold, and that they basically had the same kind of responses to them, that they needed to do all these different things and that it was their fault. Yeah, when I ended up writing a Google review to say that that's the hazard we were living with, they basically berated me and were it had to be my cleaning and that I was blackmailing them, and that's the only reason why I was saying anything. And
Ask this. So when you say they, I just want to just clarify because you mentioned about property management.
yeah.
There's a company that runs it. So this is the property management facility that was saying this back to you.
Yes. So they when they respond back to you, they'll do it under the name of the group, which is Admiral's Cove by GDC, but it's the in-house property management, Mark and Kelly, they yeah. They'll respond to you and tell you though that that's the reason why you're dealing with those things is because of your negligence in cleaning.
Okay, and just to clarify, when people came through the facility through your residence, were these mold remediation?
Not at all. It was the same woman that I had seen cleaning our hallways on a daily basis, was the same person that they had coming to scrub down the mold. And that was my big concern when I had told them I didn't want them coming and clean it up, because they specified that it wouldn't be like a mold remediation company.
Right. And the type of mold that we're speaking of, and again, for those of you that are listening in on this via Rockland's News, there has been corroboration with several other sources, and we're going to have them on the air. This is the tip of the spear right here. But what type of mold are we talking about? Because there's various types of mold.
So I know one girl has like a ridiculous amount of black mold. They obviously, when they scrubbed up the mold in my apartment, because of that I wasn't able to get that tested.
Right.
But the two species that they were able to find in my bedroom were two that could cause like asthma attacks. And as someone with asthma, and it was literally in my windowsill right next to my bed. I just didn't feel safe. But I will never know what kind of mold was on the windowsill, because they had scrubbed it and gotten rid of the evidence before my person could come in to test it.
And that was our interview with Elsie, quote unquote, formerly resident of Admiral's Cove. And Mike, yeah, it's an interesting situation. We're going to be following up with it. There's some postscript, but
so folks, I would like to remind you, one of the missions that Tom and I are doing is to be the voice in a place where one voice isn't enough to get things done because of, I call it the corporatocracy, right? Where they overburden you with legalese or money, or just try and buy you out so the next person has to deal with the problem. And we would like to, as a non-paid entity,
right, very important,
fight for the rights of the Rockland resident, citizen, our listeners. We are fired up and ready to step up and fight for you guys. You just have to let us know, because nobody can read your minds.
Right. Now, a few footnotes to this. Before we aired this story, and you could learn more about it at rocklandsnews.com. Of course, in the interest of objectivity, we reached out to the property management company. I spoke with Mark, and he invited Rockland's News to take a tour of the Admiral's Cove property.
Tell me about that. I didn't even know you went on a tour.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, we haven't gone on the tour yet.
Oh.
But we notified the property management company that we were writing up this story. We spoke with the property management company, I guess one of the guys that does the property management, Mark. So he said, check us out. So he's like, I invite you to. So we're planning on going there within the next week. We have to schedule it and yada, yada, yada. So
our people will call their people.
Yeah. Anyway,
I broke the Tommy. Broke the Tommy.
So the point is, to those of you listening, is there's more to this story that we want to unravel. And honestly, we want to hang out in the column of progress right here. We want to get to the truth, obviously, for those of you that are listening in, like this is some sort of reality TV show. But we're going to find out what's going on, what happened, and most importantly, what happens next, so that there's some sort of cool thing, a good thing that happens as a result of this story that we're putting out there on Rockland's News.
And I would say, Tom, you said with a little tongue in cheek about reality, but this is our reality. We live here, and these businesses are taking advantage of the citizens in one way or the other.
We don't know yet. I'm going to say that. I'm going to stop you right there. We don't know yet.
Allegedly,
obviously, I'm doing the interviews, but we don't know yet.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Admiral's Cove.
Sorry.
But I am talking about big business in general takes advantage of the citizens. We've been seeing it again and again. And the only way I have seen to combat that is to call people like Tom and myself.
Right.
Call us at AM Rockland. Call us.
Yeah. And that's
email us.
Yeah. And that's
text us.
That's the other point that I was making before. And then what we did was we wrote the story, and then at the bottom of the story is a form to contact the correspondent on the story. In this case, I'm the correspondent.
All right.
Story. So I'm jumping into this one. Look, my job is to run the company, but this lead developed right to me personally. about what was going on. So we've been following this for a few weeks. I'm not handing the story off to anyone on the team.
Well, I am looking forward to finding out if Admiral's Cove is guilty, or if they, or indeed being falsely accused. We don't know. We are going to find out for you, citizens, listeners. And I encourage you, if you have any issues, whether it be with your local municipality, your villages, your towns, the county, or if it's some business who is not playing fair, we would like to step up and be an advocate for you.
Yeah, and I have a message, by the way, too, and it has nothing to do with Admiral's Cove, but in terms of building the Rockland News Company over the course of time, and we've been at it for approximately 5.5 years at this point. I have a message to the ones that said to me, you're doing it yourself. And we actually have a small team of reporters out there, approximately 5 to be very specific. And if you think that another company can do a good job, why don't you work for them? Because we are looking for new reporters to jump on the team. My goal is to double the number of reporters by the end of this year and providing good quality news to the various people in Rockland County, both on the business and the residential side. So those of you that are just, and I'll use the Peter Griffin voice, and to you naysayers out there, I have one thing to say to you. Come on. Come on. Come on. And then they're like, oh, well, he has a point there. Look, if you want to report, you know what? Send in your application over at Rockland News, and we do payroll, mofos. We do payroll. These are stories that Rocklanders need to know, and get off the sidelines, baby. Get to work, and we can help you.
All right. Get off your soapbox.
Oh, I'm on my soapbox.
He's on his soapbox.
On my soapbox.
It was your turn on the soapbox.
Forget about it. You know what I'm saying?
It was your turn.
Forget about it.
My turn. I'm stepping back on the soapbox.
And now Mike is going to soapbox.
I'm going to soapbox you.
Let me put the soapbox right here for you. All right, hit it.
All right. My soapbox is vote with your dollar.
Yes.
The more local and the more citizen, more Rockland-centric you can get, the stronger we as Rockland will be. And remember that your voice will not carry as much alone as it will with a group of others.
Most definitely.
And if you contact us, we will try and gather all of you up together so we can sing the chorus of injustice.
Mm-hmm. The chorus of injustice?
The chorus of injustice.
Is that like Megadeth's Symphony of Destruction? Like,
no, because we are not destroying anything. We are trying to protect our citizens. Because the law is on the side of money, not on the side of the citizen.
Sometimes.
Most times. If you have enough money, you can change the law however you wish, we've seen.
Did you know, Mike, that I always envision the two of us like Curtis and Kubi meet
You've said that.
Opie and Anthony.
You've said that before. Well, I am a man for the people.
And I am a
man for business.
And I am a people person with a pledge pin.
With business.
Yes. That's
you got the businesses.
Listen, Bill Hicks said that I should die. Bill Hicks, the comedian. He's like,
literally?
You advertiser types, you should just jump off of freaking a mountain and hang yourselves and stuff like that.
However,
I didn't agree with his premise.
I might be able to see where he's coming from a place that marketing can be distorted and corrupted to evil purposes. But what we are trying to do here at Rockland News, at our network, is to use advertising in a good way, because we want to advertise things like District 96 and Burger Loft. Yeah. And that's really getting the word of our small businesses out to the ears of our citizens.
Exactly. So that they can go and have a good time, say, for instance, on the weekends.
And you don't have, Tom, when we first met, you were like, why do I need to leave my great county to be entertained? And we're trying to solve that problem.
That is the concept. Yeah.
So
that it's a question that needs to be answered. And if we do it right, Mike, you and me, we answer the question with a solution.
And the solution is buy local, support local.
And go to music festivals.
Well,
around here.
Support your local news.
Yeah, exactly.
And if anybody wants to sponsor us, how would they go about doing that?
Well, it's really simple. You can go to rocklandsnews.com/advertise. Just recently, we put up our 2026 media kit with a variety of different packages where you, as a small business, can advertise with us on Rockland's News. It's got all the stats, 597,000 views of Rockland's News over the past year. And we can now guarantee, I want to say this again, we can now guarantee at least 1,000 views of your brand every single month on Rockland's News. And if you sign up with us, we'll give you 60 days for free.
Now, other than talking about District 96 and Burger Loft, why don't we read off the rest of our sponsors who are already enjoying the fruits of our labor.
And we're going to be right back with Tom Brady.
Not that Tom Brady, the other Tom Brady.
The other Tom Brady. And he's a pretty cool Tom Brady. Let me tell you, he's got a sports performance coaching company in Rockland. And we're going to be talking some sports momentarily. So we'll be right back with him.
Down for the rest of our sponsors. Now it's Yabu Fence, Dana Pest Control.
You're listening to Rockland News, available on Apple, Spotify, and online at rocklandnews.com.
Tom and I are having
Thanks for joining us today.
a time. So, sponsors.
Here are your
No
hosts,
sponsors?
Tom Osa and Mike Kluger.
Go! Go!
Yabu
Go,
Fence,
quickly!
Dana Pest Control, Easy Temp, Kobe Sushi, Susan Bova, Laura Molino Muller, Whole Shot, 99 Signs, FC Perfection, Clean Space Maintenance, Management Company, Rockland Music Fest, and let's keep the rock in Rockland, New York Boulders baseball team, along with our new friend John from District 96 and Burger Loft. We are happy to tell you what's going on in Rockland, be your voice, and, fight for you.
Absolutely. So we'll be right back with Tom Brady in just a few moments. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to share out this episode.
Zany.